No one expected that Jungkook's name, which had stood as a symbol of success, dedication, and perseverance in the Korean entertainment industry, was now shaken by a storm of decisions that left millions of soldiers around the world speechless, stunned, and even crying. Jungkook, the golden magne who has always been known as the perfect figure, is now at the center of a global conversation because of a decision that seemed to slap public expectations, shaking the roots of the career he built with sweat and tears. Not just gossip. It's not just the fans who get emotional. This is a slowly unfolding fact, tinged with hints, whispers from within the industry, and the unusual movements of those closest to him. Jungkook's decision not only made fans hold their breath, but also made K-pop industry observers massage their temples. How can a world-class star, who is at the peak of his career and is predicted to be the next global legend, choose a path that is almost impossible to understand by industry logic? Is it about fatigue? Is this because of the pressure that has been hidden behind her always friendly smile in front of the camera? Or is there a great power behind the scenes that has been restraining his steps, and now he has finally rebelled? No one knows for sure, but one thing is clear. Jungkook is taking a step that could reverse the course of his life. In the army, they're not ready to. At first, everything seemed normal. Jungkook still appears in his videos before enlistment, looking cheerful, full of spirit, even making future plans that sound promising. But that's all changed since a covert message he delivered on a live broadcast before going into the military. A simple greeting, but if you look deeper, carries a much greater meaning than just a farewell greeting. Sometimes what looks like a step back is the best way to save yourself, he said in a tone that sounded flat but full of meaning. Not a few soldiers immediately felt a strange premonition from then on, but they refused to panic. Until finally, as he neared the end of his military service, the news exploded. Jungkook won't be making a comeback. Jungkook will not release a solo album as promised. Jungkook won't be joining BTS for their reunion project anytime soon. Jungkook is even reportedly considering leaving the entertainment industry, at least for the time being. The news came like lightning in broad daylight. As if it was not enough for the army to have to wait so long without BTS group activities, now the magne, who has always been a solace, instead made a decision that was like lifting that hope with his own hands. So the question, why? What exactly happened? According to an internal source from Big Hit who did not want to be named, Jungkook's decision was not taken suddenly. Rather, it is the result of a long process full of inner conflicts and tremendous pressure from different sides. Jungkook felt that he had lost his way. He no longer feels part of himself. He's tired, not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. For years, he lived in the shadow of expectations, market demands, and projects that seemed to never end. He loved music, he loved the stage, he loved the army. But he no longer loves the behind-the-scenes world that shaped him into an icon, not a human being. More than that, there is one important factor that has been kept secret from the public, an internal conflict that has been tightly hidden from the media spotlight. This conflict involved not only the management, but also people who had been part of Jungkook's closest circle. This is where the controversy began to spread. The issue of tensions between Jungkook and several key figures in his agency began to flare up. Some say that Jungkook's decision is a form of resistance to a system that he thinks is already unhealthy. There are even rumors that Jungkook once made a request to leave the label, but was held back in various ways, including psychological pressure point. One of the most emotional moments came when a longtime Big Hit staffer leaked that Jungkook had locked himself in the studio for 2 whole days, refusing to meet anyone, not even answering phones from the members. He said he wanted to go back to being Jungkook, not a product, the staff said in a trembling voice. The army was divided. There are those who cry and hope that this decision is only temporary. There are those who are angry and blame the management. There are even those who feel betrayed by their own idols. But all felt one thing in common: deep sadness. The question is, will Jungkook return, Or is this the end of the story of BTS's youngest idol who has always been considered the most shining jewel in the K-pop industry? However, the question of Jungkook's return turns out to have no easy answer. Behind the scenes, the turmoil didn't stop. It's getting worse. In an off-the-record interview with a former executive from HYB, an astonishing admission emerged. Jungkook once stated directly that he would rather live a normal life than be a legend. It was like a nuclear explosion in the middle of nowhere. Over the years, industry and the public have sculpted Jungkook as a figure destined to become an all-time icon. Even when BTS decided to go on hiatus due to military service, many K-pop industry analysts predicted that Jungkook will be the spearhead in maintaining the glory of the group's name. But now, with the decision touted as the aftermath of internal stress and existential boredom, that hope seems to be shattered into pieces. More surprisingly, some sources say that Jungkook had serious discussions with his family to completely quit the entertainment world. Not a break, not a hiatus, but a complete stop. This information first emerged from someone known as a former BTS choreographer who has now left the industry. He mentioned that during a secret dinner in early 2024, Jungkook looked very unlike his usual self. He was like someone lost in his own body. There was no light in his eyes. Suddenly, the army around the world began to re-unpack all of Jungkook's old content. Live broadcasts, Wever's posts, even short videos from his last concert. They're looking for clues. And it turns out the clues do exist. Since the end of 2023, Jungkook's words have changed. He talks more and more about a quiet life, about the importance of finding yourself. And even in one of his radio interviews, he once said that the world of celebrities is sometimes like a maze that you can't get out of. Even the phrase "rumaku is stanaku," which used to be considered funny and adorable, now feels heartbreaking. As if he wanted to hide in his palace, closing the door to the outside world that had adored him, and at the same time suppress it. The phrase is now viral again, with a much darker meaning. Where then is HYB in all this? Do they just silently watch their gems slowly lose their luster? No. According to leaked information from one of the industry forums, HYB has been trying hard to put together a luxurious comeback for Jungkook. They have even prepared a solo album trilogy concept with production teams from outside Korea, major global collaborations, to endorsement contracts worth tens of millions of dollars. But all were rejected. Jungkook only gave one sentence: "I can't give you what you want if I don't know who I am." That sentence shocked everyone in the meeting room. One of the managers even reportedly cried after hearing that.